It may come as a complete shock to some of you that English is not my first language. I believe the official classification is English as a second language. For your information, English was not easy for me to learn, as the following stories will prove. To learn English, my father sent me 1,925 miles from my hometown in Mexico to a boarding school in the U.S. Don't feel sorry for me. It was a beautiful Catholic boarding school in the lush green countryside outside of Minneapolis. The year was 1973. I was starting my junior in high school. I was one of the only Spanish-speaking students in the entire school. For all I knew, we were the only 4 Mexicans in the entire state. At that time, there were not Mexicans in Minnesota, except during the summer harvest. Here I was, my first day on campus. I remember it clearly. It was a Sunday afternoon. My parents kissed me goodbye and left me at my dorm. Why should they worry about leaving me behind? I was in a very nice Catholic school, and I had already taken 2 years of English before coming here. I was about to find out how worthless those 2 years of English were. Moments after my parents left, a couple of my roommates started talking to me. I looked at them, not saying a word. They looked at me, and then they looked at each other. Immediately, they knew I didn't understand a word they had said. They continued talking to me as if I knew what they were saying. They are opening my suitcase. I thought it was weird, but maybe they were going to help me unpack, I thought. Nah. They took a pair of pants and indicated that I should change from a skirt to pants. Being as shy as I was, I went to the bathroom to change, still wondering why they wanted me to wear pants, and thinking back on my dad's last words. Remember, don't go in anyone's car and don't do wrong things just to make yourself fit with others. When I came back to the room, they waved me to follow, so I did. Next, I recall, we are climbing into a girl's car going who knows where. Knowing English would have come in really handy about now, I thought. I started to get more and more concerned as the car left the school grounds. I began to pray with the words of my father still echoing in my ears. Don't get into anyone's car. We finally arrived at a house. I assumed it belonged to one of the girls. As we walked in the door, I heard her mother's voice. Thank God, I am safe, I thought with a sigh. They talked and they talked. One of them picked up a guitar and began to play. The others started singing along. Oh, very nice. Except for 2 things. First, I didn't understand a word they were singing. And second, I had to go to the bathroom. Summing up all my past English lessons, I thought I said to the girl next to me, I need to go to the bathroom. She looked at me. Then she looked at the girl next to her, who also kept looking at me blankly. Finally, they figured it out and answered me. Go straight to this second door on the left. I looked at them and I smiled. I didn't have a clue what they just told me. After what seemed like a very long time, one of the girls stood up and went to show me the bathroom door. It was going to be a long year, I thought to myself. In the days to follow, I discovered that my high school English classes were not gonna get me very far. In fact, I began to think that everyone I met at school had the same name. You see, when I asked someone, "What's your name?" they would respond, "What?" Time after time, that happened. At last, I learned my first word. I heard it for days. What? After about a month, through desperation and hard work, I began to understand and say some simple words or short phrases. As time went on, I learned more and more. As I got better, the friendship with my roommates got even closer and more interesting. They loved hanging around with me. Each of them really liked to help me with English. One of their favorite teaching techniques took place at fast food restaurants. My friends will love to give me their orders and send me to the front of the line so I could practice my English by placing the orders with the clerk. They especially liked taking me to Burger King for a snack. They would huddle around me as I stood at the counter and said very clearly and slowly to the clerk, "I want 3 burgers, please, with mustard and mayonnaise." Everybody sure got a laugh. They knew did not mind the fun they had at my expense. What an amazing experience I had that year learning English in a boarding school. I laughed. I cried. Through it all, the friendship with my roommates grew closer and closer. Would the relationship have been as close if I had come to school already fluent in English? I guess I'll never know. But I fondly think back on those days. Every time I drive through the countryside and see the acres and acres of crop.